Yeah.
Very briefly. Okay. You picked up her body, then what did you do? You've already told us that you were yelling at her.
Yes.
What did you do?
I shook her.
You shook her?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I wasn't sure if she was dead. She just fell lifeless, and she was gone, like.
Okay. What did you do after you shook her? You confirmed in your mind that she was dead. Is that what you're telling us?
Yes.
Then what did you do?
I threw the pistol on the couch. I grabbed the other pistol. I threw that on the couch.
Let me back you up. What pistols are you talking about?
There's a Glock pistol and a Taurus pistol.
So the Glock is yours, and that's the one you used to shoot her, is that right?
That's correct.
And the Taurus was hers?
That's correct.
And they were both on the bed? Is that what you said?
Yes.
What did you do with them?
I threw them off the bed onto the couch.
Did you remove the silencer from the Glock?
No.
Okay. So you threw the two guns onto the couch.
Yes.
Then what did you do?
I slid off the couch and I slid off the bed, and I was like, I remember like touching her hair and touching her back and talking to her. And I was.
Did you have anything more to drink?
Later on, I had some more to drink. Yes.
So what you're telling us is you sat beside her body for some
Objection, Your
period
Honor.
of time?
He has not testified to any of that.
Yes. For some time, I sat.
So wait.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait,
I'm sorry.
wait.
There's a series of leading questions, Ms. Jansen.
Yes, I've been told. So what did you?
Wait till I finish. So
Oh, okay, sorry.
no more leading questions, all right?
Well, we're just setting some foundational things, Judge.
I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time.
So
Where are
without
we?
my putting words into your mouth, what did you do next?
I sat with her body, and I touched her hair. I touched her back, and I talked to her. And
Do you have any idea what time of day or night this might have been?
this was probably after 2 a.m., which would be Saturday morning. Saturday morning.
Then what did you do then?
At some point, I lifted her up again, and I was inspecting her, and I just saw like a lot of blood like coming out of her head, and I was like, oh my god, like. So I went and I had some plastic bags, so I went and opened a plastic bag, and I put it under her head so she would. I didn't know how much blood was going to come out, so. It was like a catchment, and I sat there for some time, just like maybe like 10 or 15 minutes, just like sitting there. And there was I don't, at some point after that, I think I like slid off the couch onto the floor, and I called out for Remington, and she has like a small doghouse underneath one of the couches, so I checked on her, and I sat with her, and at some point I grabbed the vodka and continued drinking.
Let me stop you.
Okay.
And ask you. You're testifying today about what you remember. When did these memories come to you?
My memories came to me sometime after the event. I was detained by the police, and I was put into a cell, and I want to say it was like at some point, maybe like I'm estimating, like a week or 2 weeks, probably closer to 2 weeks later, after being in the cell. I don't know, like I had an experience. I know that this is going to sound strange, but I had an experience. I don't know if anyone's ever like been on a merry-go-round, where you're on it and everything's just spinning, but that's what I was experiencing. It just felt like everything was spinning, and then the ride finally came to like a stop, and then there was like a bit of clarity where like there wasn't as much like distortion.
So what you're telling us today about what you did after you shot Emily, are those memories that came back to you later on?
Objection. Again, Judge, another leading question.
Sustained.
When did those, what you just told us, it was a couple of...
Yeah, it was a couple of weeks. I was having flashbacks. I finally started to. I felt very separated. And what I mean by that is like I feel like my mind and my body were on two different planets, and I'd finally like rested and started to like feel clearer about things, and I was trying to understand what happened, and trying to put the pieces back together, and yeah.
So let's continue with what you remember happening, and we're in the early hours of Saturday morning, right?
Yeah.
What do you remember next?
Early Saturday morning, I sat with Remy and we mourned together, and we were just like so scared and confused, and yeah, I remember drinking from the bottle, and then I remember the sun coming up, and yeah, I remember the sun coming up, and then at some point, I made the call to get some coffee together. So
So you remember making coffee?
Yep. I remember it being sun up, and I remember making some coffee. I had a French press and some coffee grounds, and made some coffee. And took Remington out. Drank some coffee, and then it was just, yeah, I don't know, like I was just like, I was really shook. So I just I was having a hard time focusing, you know. I just remember like my mind was like working in loop or something. Like I just kept seeing it happen over and over. It's terrible.
Are you telling us that you saw yourself shooting Emily?
Objection, Your Honor.
No.
Wait until the judge rules.
Oh, sorry.
You can answer.
No. I just remember. I just remember like the sensation of like her body dropping, and I remember like picking her up and her just like falling, just lifeless.
And that's what you remembered?
Yeah.
You were, I think you said, over and over.
Yeah, like intermittently just interrupting everything.
What, if anything, do you remember doing on Saturday?
On Saturday, I reached out to my sister. I was reaching out to see if she was awake, if she had her morning coffee yet, to see what her plans were for the day, and I don't know if she asked me or if I asked her about eating, because the next thing that I remember is we went to eat some breakfast.
You remember that?
I have like a couple flashes of like getting in her car, somebody's car, Ariel's car, I don't know whose car. I remember getting in their car. I remember like being at the restaurant. I don't really remember specifics.
Do you remember telling her anything about where Emily was?
Yes, okay, yeah, I do remember she asked, is Emily joining us? And I lied and told her that Emily was still sleeping.
Why did you lie?
We talked about how their trip was for their vacation, and that she didn't want us to bring our drama to their vacation. So I didn't want to dump that on her.
So your testimony is that you didn't tell her that you shot Emily because you were honoring her request not
Yeah.
to bring drama?
Yes. Yes, I didn't want to bring the drama to her vacation.
Okay. What else did you do on Saturday that you can now remember?
After breakfast, there was talk about her. She wanted a tattoo, and I said I'd be happy to give you a tattoo. So we made plans to meet up. Oh, you know what? At some point I took a shower. Yeah, I took a shower. Yeah, I think after breakfast I took a shower in her Airbnb.
So you remember her asking for a tattoo and you agreeing to do that, right?
Yes,
What else do you remember happened on Saturday, if anything?
took a shower. I went and I had to pack Rosie up for a trip, and after the events the night or the morning, the events of the morning, Emily was lying on the bed. So I had to do like a cleanup. I had to clean up some things and move some things around and sort of pack everything up to move the bus. And yeah, I collected some items, and like I said, I packed things away so they wouldn't move around during transport, and I moved Emily from the bed onto the floor of the shower, and then
Any idea what time of day this happened?
I want to say midday.
So after you had breakfast, took a shower, came back, you cleaned up. Is that what you're telling us?
Yes.
Then what else, if anything, do you remember about Saturday?
Saturday, I drove to Sarah and Jason Lang's. They were letting me use a room as a studio where I was doing some tattooing, and there was I want to say maybe like an hour and maybe like an hour and a half drive up to St. Albans from Bolton. So I drove. I drove through Jonesville. I stopped at the river where we used to go swimming. I threw some items into the river. I drove to.
When did you remember all of this?
This is all stuff that I'm just putting back together. I feel like everything, all my memory is very fragmented. Like it's just it's just like pieces of a puzzle, and I'm just trying to put the puzzle back together. So I didn't remember until we started trying to figure out why everything happened and how everything happened.
Okay. So you drove up to St. Albans, is that right? To the Langs.
Went to the Langs.
What happened then, if you remember?
I parked Rosie, and I went to speak with Sarah. She was home. I think Jason was working.
What, if anything, did you tell them about where Emily was?
They, well, Sarah was there, and she asked, "Where's Emily?" And I lied to her, and I told her that Emily had left to go hang out with some friends. Yeah, she was talking about going to hang out with her friends, so I just sort of like ran with that information and just told Sarah that she was hanging out with her friends.
What do you remember happening next?
Well, at some point, my sister and Ariel showed up at the Langs. Yeah, she brought me my phone. And
What do you mean she brought you your phone? Wasn't it with you?
no, I asked her if I could use her electricity at her Airbnb and leave the phone charging, and she could just bring it with her. So she brought me my phone, and we talked about doing a tattoo, and I remember doing like a sketch out of the tattoo. I remember feeling like really angry. Not with my sister, but just like the events that happened, it just kept like rolling over in my head, and I was just so angry, like thinking like how anyone could push me to that. Like I just never thought that was possible, and yeah, just like really out of focus. And
We've heard testimony from other witnesses that you appeared very calm and natural. You remember hearing that?
I do.
But you're telling us that that was not what your emotions were.
I was falling apart inside. Outwardly, yeah, I think I'm a very closed off person. I'm a very private person, and I do drink and use THC to excess. I mean, not anymore. I've been sober for 3 years, thank God. But out there, it was pretty bad. I was drinking and I was smoking almost all day, and it definitely helped to like just keep me numb.
But are you telling us that in general you're a closed-off person?
I mean, I don't really show outwardly like how I'm feeling or what's going on with me.
Okay. And it's been commented before that, and we've also seen it on the interview, you were able to go from showing emotion to having small talk just like that. How is that possible?
I mean, the interview, the video is hard.
We're
It's
going to
hard.
talk about that in more detail. I'm just asking you about
Well,
flipping
so
the switch and,
yeah, a lot of times I've been working with people for a long time, and I usually will start talking to someone to get them to open up about themselves.
and you're talking about working as a tattoo
Yeah,
artist.
yeah, working as a tattoo artist and a piercer, what I do, it hurts. It hurts people. Like, tattoos hurt, piercings hurt. So as a distraction, I will get people to talk, and once they're distracted enough, then I will do the procedure, and typically they're not focusing on the sensations, so they can be still. I don't know if anyone has tattoos, but you can't move around. It's permanent marks. So if you move around, if you want the word Bob, it might come out saying Bub. So you don't want to move around a lot when you're getting.
So is this your explanation of how you're able to engage in small talk?
Yeah, I just
easily?
get people talking.
This is a habit that you've developed.
Yeah, it lets me focus on what I'm doing without having to worry about them.
Okay, so you said you were drinking a lot and smoking a lot at that time, over that weekend.
Yes?
And we were talking about what you did on Saturday. And what else, if anything, do you remember from Saturday?
Saturday, the tattoo for Nicole happened, and then Nicole, Ariel, and myself went to get some food and some drinks, and I believe they drove. They drove. I got in their vehicle, and we went to Twigs. And I remember having like a snack, and I remember having multiple drinks, and leaving. Well, really, I remember them dropping me off back at the Lang's place.
Okay.
I don't remember a lot of the conversation or a lot of the. I felt very distracted and very just. Yeah, I was going through some pretty emotional stuff.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know. I can't really explain it. It's like the first time anything like this has happened to me. So like I couldn't focus. But what I do remember is them dropping me back off at the Langs, and I remember going back into Rosie and just sort of seeing the state of affairs in there, and
What does that mean?
Emily was deceased, and there was blood, and it was bad, and
Did you sleep that night?
no, I got a blanket, and I covered him, and I sat with her and talked with her, and yeah, the three of us just sat together, and yeah, we just cried, and
You cried.
yeah. Remington was it was like she knew what happened, and it was like she was crying too. You know, she was like whining, and
So that's Saturday night.
Yep.
Do you have any recollection of Sunday?
Well, I remember drinking. I remember sitting on the floor, like, holding Em's hand.
You there.
Uh-huh.
Did you have all of this, what were you drinking? Was it still what you told us before, vodka and Red Bull?
No. No, I believe that was Saturday night. So I remember drinking red wine and gin.
Was this alcohol that you already had purchased and had in the bus?
Yes.
That's a lot of alcohol.
Yeah, I had a real problem. And I didn't want to feel. I didn't want to be in my emotions like that. And I drank, and then I remember the sun coming up on Sunday, but I don't really remember Sunday.
Okay. Do you remember anything happening on Monday?
All I remember is from there on is just like flashes of things and just really like distorted.
Let me ask you specifically, do you remember going to the Basses on Monday?
I remember like a flash of being on the road, like riding there. I remember a flash of seeing Adrian's eyes.
Why did you go to the Basses?
So that was that Monday? I had I found out that I went to the Basses, and
I mean, you found out. What do you mean you found out?
I read a transcript.
Okay, so I'm asking you if you have an independent memory or recollection of going to the Basses.
All I remember is like seeing Adrian's eyes, and yeah. Then after that, I remember having like a sensation of like hugging Spencer and like falling into his car.
Okay. Well, very sporadic memories.
Yeah. It's just there's no like memory reel. It's just there's a piece here and a piece there, and nothing lines up, and I can't.
We'll take our afternoon break now.
Okay.
I want to talk to the parties for a moment. Before lunch, your estimate was you were going to be another hour. We're working on, it's been a little over an hour and a half.
Now, things that I was planning to cover later on.
And how much longer do you think your direct will be?
Half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
45 minutes-ish.
I'm not holding you to an amount of cross, but do you think we would finish cross today? If you start at 3:30 or 3:45? Again, no need to say yes.
I don't know.
Okay. All right, and we'll talk about tomorrow, but I think we're probably looking to push back, maybe pushing back closings, certainly till at least Thursday afternoon and maybe Friday morning, but we'll see how things go, depending on what further evidence there might be. All right? Okay, thank you. Is there anything to address before we bring back the jury?
Judge.
No, thank you.
Okay? Bring in the jury. Please be seated. We're back in the matter of State versus Joseph Ferlazzo Jr. After our mid-afternoon break, all members of the jury are present, and we'll continue with direct examination. Ms. Jantz.
Thank you, Judge. So, there's a couple of things I want to talk about. You've admitted that you lied on multiple occasions over the course of the weekend, right?
Right.
Do you remember the things, you've already testified that you lied to your sister, you lied to the Langs.
Yes.
Any other lies that you remember telling?
No.
Do you remember sending text messages to Emily's phone over the course of the weekend? Stand by
I do. I do remember sending messages when I was with my sister. She brought up Emily, and I was like, "Oh, I'll send. I'll text her, see where she's at." And
Why did you do that?
that was another lie. I did not want to tell my sister what happened.
And when you were at the Basses, do you remember having a telephone conversation with a law enforcement officer from Vermont?
No.
You don't remember that? Okay. Why were you lying to all these people about where Emily was?
Well, so it's like this. I had talked to my grandmother about coming to Pennsylvania to help get her out of her home and put her into a safer home, either like a one-story home or like an assisted living. And Emily and I were going to go to Pennsylvania to help make that process happen. And if I would have told people, then the police would have been called, and I would be detained, and I would not be able to help my grandmother get her life together. So I wanted to move forward with my plans, even though what happened made it impossible.
So your testimony is that you lied because you wanted to get back to Pennsylvania to help your grandmother move.
Yes.
Why didn't you just go back to Pennsylvania instead of hanging around all weekend?
Well, so I took the opportunity to be with my sister, as I hadn't seen her in years, and I